Neil, and welcome back to Fuzzy Ducks of Gaming and a new video on the channel. Just going over my revised Scour in Deli Atlas strategy that was in my most recent Headhunter farm video. For those who haven't seen it, you don't need to go and watch that video. I'll go through the actual Atlas strategy, what its purpose is, the sort of currency that you can get, and how best to run it for profit. Now, the build I'm using is a work in progress, so there's not going to be a build guide for it yet. So if people are wondering if I am going to bring a build guide out for this Frostblaze character, I will if I can get it where I think it's worth the currency. At the moment, I've spent probably 30 divines on it, and it's okay, but I don't think it's amazing, so it's something I need to work on. But anyway, back to the Atlas strategy. The purpose of the strategy that I run most of the time is just to have a brain-dead easy strategy that doesn't need Affliction, Magic Find, or anything like that, and turns over decent, reliable currency. The only thing you need for this strategy is a few maps, some scours, and some wisdom scrolls, because you're going to be running all the maps scoured, and we're basically going to self-sustain by using Wandering Path. So we'll just go over the Atlas tree very quickly, because the one in the last video was slightly wrong in terms of what was shown, but the linked tree worked fine. What we're looking to do is essentially get Deli mirrors as often as we can. So we're taking chance to get Delirium rewards here. Deli mirrors, chance to get Deli mirrors here, chance to get Delirium orbs, and then more Delirium orbs. And then because you have the points, just the splinters here, but you won't get huge amounts of splinters anyway. We're taking the increased chance for Maven to drop an invitation, because these are worth insane money if you can get them to drop. And then just with the points left, we're just taking extra quantity from this wheel here. Quantum rarity, it doesn't do very much. It gives you a little bit more chance to drop something. Harbingers, I'm just going through these because you need to pass through some nodes to get here. If you want to stop and do the Harbinger, you can, but I don't think it's really worth it. Wandering Path to double all of our small notables, and then Stream of Consciousness just to have more chance to get a Deli mirror. Now, I think the chance to get a Deli mirror is 60%. It might be 65, but essentially more than 1 in 2 maps, you're just going to get a free Deli mirror with a chance to get some Delirium orbs at the end. The only other things really you need on the strategy is take as many higher chance map nodes as you can. So I just take all the small ones on the tree. You need to get maximum chance to duplicate maps, which is 37%, which are all these connected nodes here and here, and lots of them all around the Atlas tree. And you also want 100% chance of one monster to drop a connected map, and that comes from, again, more small notables. But if you follow the tree linked in the description, you will already kind of fit all of that criteria. Now, one thing I just wanted to go over is these small map nodes here, because I get a lot of questions about these every video, so I thought I would explain it to save myself answering questions. Even though we have 4 watchstones in, which means you can only drop T16 maps, maps below T16 do drop. But what happens is they get converted into, let's say, they're map points, and each tier is worth double the points of the one before. So let's say a tier 1 map is worth 1 point, a tier 2 map is worth 2 points, and then it multiplies all the way up to T16. Once you get enough points to satisfy a T16 map, the game will drop you a T16 map. The reason we want to increase the chance to get higher, so if we go here and search higher, you can see here we've got 120% chance for a map to be 1 tier higher. So what that means is if a map drop that would have been a T15, and basically you need 3 lots of those points to get a T16. Because of these nodes, it just automatically is a T16 because it's going to be 1 tier higher. The extra 20% also does do something, because it means in your T14 maps, you have a 20% chance to turn that into a tier 16. So basically 1 in 5 tier 14 maps that drops becomes 16. Every 15 that drop becomes a 16. And also anything that would be tier 3 will get the points from a tier 4 and so on. So it doesn't seem like it does anything because you have watchstones in, but it does increase your map drops by quite a lot. The only other thing to mention, which you can use, is shadow shaping, which we'll go through when we go through the favorites. So the maps that I think are the best ones to run if you just want to go for invitations and get your Deli orbs is going to be City Square and Park. They're both fairly easy to get to the boss. The boss is always in the same place. You can rush them if you need to, but you can also get enough Deli kills to get your 4 layers of rewards, which gives you the best chance to get Delirium orbs. So if we go to Park and City Square, we can see that Park is here and City Square is here. Obviously both T16 with our 4 watchstones in. The way I run them is I will run Park maps and City Square. When I run my City Square, I'll favorite every map as Park other than 1 and put it as City Square, and then vice versa. When I run Park, I'll set all of them by 1 to City Square and 1 to Park. The reason I do that is even though we are guaranteed a connected map, you do get quite a lot of maps drop that aren't connected. If you make sure that you have all of your favorites filled with the map you want, you've got a much more higher chance of dropping that map and therefore making sure you have no issues with map supply. And so what you can do on the Atlas tree is take this node here called shadow shaping. What this does is essentially means your favorite maps cannot drop. So all you would do is every single map that's connected to both Park and City Square, you would favorite. So you would favorite Sepulchre, Relic Chambers, Bog, Overgrown Ruin, and then Arena. That means that whenever you're running City Square or Park, whenever your connected map drop is basically always going to be the one that you're not running. What happens though with this is that if you do get maps drop that are not from a connected map drop and just a normal drop, there will be any random map across the Atlas. And overall, it does make a difference in maps by quite a bit. However, if you're comfortably sustaining, shadow shaping is easier because you never have to switch your favorites around. However, once you get a big map supply, say you end up with 50 parks, then you aren't going to need to change your favorites until you run all of those 50 parks and you're going to go back to City Square. So I do think this works better because you end up with a better map supply, but I think shadow shaping will work absolutely fine. If you're not bothered about losing some Guardian maps, you can go singular focus, but I really don't think it's needed. And considering how expensive Conqueror maps are, I don't think it's something you should be putting on your tree. But that's just to explain a couple of different changes you can make to the tree. If you don't want to go changing your favorite slots, you can just go shadow shaping. The other bonus for shadow shaping is every different map you have favorited, you have a 1% chance for a special implicit to be put on your map. This map has 10 Rogue Exiles. This map has 2 Abysses. They don't do much for me because I don't run these maps juice, but they can be handy if you then want to change your strategy and run something where you're chiseling Alkins, Sextants, Compasses, whatever. These maps can end up being quite valuable, but it's not really something I pay attention to for this particular strategy. What you're looking to do to get out of this is essentially Syrian Exarch invitations. At the moment, they're about 2.8 divines in bulk. They were 3.2 a few days ago, and they may go down a little bit more, but as long as they're above 2 divines, this strategy is still well worth running. And Delirium Orbs are worth an absolute ton in bulk. I'm pretty sure they're still around 7 for 1 divine. So if we have a look here, so you see here, it looks like they sell between 6 to 7 Delirium Orbs for a divine, just for any random Delirium Orbs. And then if you get ones like Skittering, they're a lot more. You can sell them, as you can see here. You can get 7 for 2 divines. Diviners are worth a little bit more, and then so are the fine Delirium Orbs. But all of them are worth an absolute ton of currency, and we'll go through how to bulk sell them really easily later in the video. And that's really all you're looking to get from it. Boss maps, Simulacrum Splinters and Simulacrums, Delirium Orbs, and then your Syrian Exarch invitation, and then any invitations that you might have drop. You'll get some stuff dropped from Deli mirrors that are worth money, but it's not necessarily something you want to rely on for income. And the whole purpose of this sort of strategy is that everything that drops sells really quick. So if you only had Delirium Orbs, Syrian Exarch invitations, Simulacrums, boss maps, and invitations, that's very few trades you need to make to get all of your currency income from this strategy. So we'll go in and I'll just showcase how to run each map. As I say, what you're looking to do when a Deli mirror spawns is get to 4 rewards, because that gives you, I think, a chance to get Deli Orbs. If you have under that, you have a very slim chance of getting them from my experience. So we'll go in and we'll do a City Square map. Let's say you just do Syrian Exarch Influence, just do the 8% quantity, and then we go. So when you're starting out, if you don't have many maps, you're probably going to want to sort of half clear the map anyway, just to make sure you sustain your map. So we'll assume that I've only got 10 City Square maps, and this is my first map to run. The way I run City Square, when you come in, you can see a diagram on the screen here. There's essentially 4 areas that you spawn in at, and they're kind of the points of the compass, and the boss is always in the middle. So what I tend to do is maybe clear a quarter of the map, then go to the middle, kill the boss, and portal out again. If I get a Deli mirror, which we will do an example of, you just want to kill enough enemies to get to 4 layers of rewards. Then you can stop the delirium timer, pick up your rewards, and leave. So we'll go and do this first map. So you're just going to kill stuff until your influence procs, which is there. And then if you want, you can clear a bit more of the map to get a chance of dropping a map. So we'll just go and do this U shape up here. We'll collect that. I don't worry about altars because we're not taking any nodes to boost them up. So we've got our part map. So then we would just head to the middle of the map, which is here, find the boss, kill the boss, and collect our rewards. And as you can see here, we got a Baron map, which is probably about 80C. So once you're done, you just portal out. Simple as that. That's the map done. And then you'll just put the next one in and you keep going. The way you're going to make money doing any kind of strat where you want to turn over maps quickly is obviously be quick. So in terms of a character, either movement speed or a movement skill that can get you across the map quickly that you can spam, and then just enough DPS to get the boss down in around 5 seconds. You don't need any better character than that. I would think any character you can build for like 10 to 20 divines is going to be easily good enough to do this sort of strategy. So we'll go in and hope that we get a Deli mirror. We did. So with a Deli mirror, you just run through it. I tend to wait for the monsters to spawn because if you run off really quick, there seems to be a bit of a glitch where sometimes the Deli mirror fog just doesn't move and you end up outrunning it. So with this, again, you're going to go through and you'll just do a little loop around the edge of the map until you get enough rewards that you can go back in. So we've got our park map to drop, which is great. That's one less thing we have to worry about. So there we've got our 4 rewards. So now we can just go to the middle of the map and find the boss. Kill the boss. Stop the Deli mirror. And then we take our reward. So we've got Delirium Orb, which is nice. And out we go. And they're kind of the 2 different scenarios for running your city square maps. If you need maps, then you can stay in the map a little bit longer. But if not, if the Deli mirror doesn't spawn, as soon as you influence procs, just go to the middle, kill the boss, exit. When you get a Deli mirror, wait till you get 4 rewards, kill the boss, collect your loot, remembering to stop the Deli timer and collecting your loot, and then you exit. So I'll be back with you in a second. I'm just going to rejig my favorites and we'll go and run some part maps. So we're going to rejig the favorites. For people that don't know, you don't have to click on the actual map to favorite it. If you already have it in your bar, you can just click on the one you want to replace and then click on the map you want to replace it with. So it's nice and quick, and you might have to do this once every 30 to 40 minutes. So for me, I like doing this setup better without using the keystone to stop favorite maps dropping. I just find I keep my maps a little bit better. So that's all we need to do. Get all our city squares bar 1, put that as park. Then we'll go in and then we'll do a park map. So park map is actually the same tile set as city square. And again, it is a square. You'll spawn in one of the corners. The boss will always spawn in the opposite corner. So we'll go and just do a quick few runs of this map to show you how to complete it. So we've got a Deli mirror. So you run through the mirror. Again, just wait for it to spawn because it can glitch out and the fog can just not move. And again, with this one, we are just going to beeline around the outside. We've got our map drop already, which is nice. So you just run all the way down one side. It doesn't matter what one. Then you get to a corner, you turn around, and then you run all the way to the end of this one, and the boss will be there. So she should be in the corner here. And you just kill the boss. Dropped a map, didn't drop anything else. Stop the Deli timer. No Deli Orb that time, but it's fine. And then we're in and out of the map. So we'll just go and spam a couple more until we get where a Deli mirror doesn't spawn. But essentially, the strategy is the same. But like I say, if you don't need maps, you can kind of just rush to the boss. You don't need to worry about killing too much on the way. And that's why it's important to have like a good movement skill or very, very quick movement speed. So this one, we got no Deli mirror. Again, we're just going to do the L shape to get to the boss. But this time, because I don't need maps, I've got loads. We're just going to get the influence to proc, and then we'll just literally beeline our way through the map. There's the influence, so then we'll just go straight to the boss. Kill the boss, city square, done, portal, out the map. And that's it. And the quicker you can do these maps, the more currency you're going to make. Because like I say, the majority of your income is maps, invitations, Deli Orbs, simulacrums. They're kind of the things that you want to get out of the map, which means being quick is important because the more maps you can turn over, the more Syrian Exarch invitations you can get. That's kind of it. You literally just rinse and repeat. The more you do it, the more maps you're going to build up. And the prices on these are going down a little bit, but if you wait until you've got, I would say 10 to 20, you're going to get much more currency for them. So if we go here and have a look, I forget how wide these are. They're 12. So we've got over 20 Syrian Exarch invitations. So if you just go for one, you can see that if people are selling them quickly, they're sort of 2.2 to 2.3. But if I said I had 20 and we search, then you can see they're 2.8 to 2.9. So getting bulk for this sort of thing matters massively. And even if you're slightly slower than me, you should do 2 full rotations in 1 hour. And then once you've done, say, 5 hours, whether that's a day or 2 days, you'll have 10 invitations to sell. So if we then look at 10, they again are still 2.8 divines for an invitation, which is still pretty good money considering every 28 maps you're just getting one of these essentially for free. In terms of your delirium orbs, you can sell them on trade if you have enough, or you can post them on TFT. TFT is the easiest way to do it, so we'll just very quickly go through how to do that. You obviously need to be a member of their Discord server. From memory, all you need to do is link your POE account, and then I think you just automatically join, but I did join many years ago, so I'm not 100% sure on the process. But TFT is a Discord server where you can basically do anything. You can buy and sell anything you want. There's services, you can buy builds, you can do all sorts. But all I really use it for is to buy and sell stuff that is a bit awkward to sell on trade. So my Syrian Exarch invitations, I would just sell on trade. They'll sell the same pretty much as they would on TFT. Delirium orbs you can sell if you have enough of the same type, but they can be a bit more awkward if you have 3 of one type and 3 of another. You can't really bulk sell them for divines because you need to combine them, which at the moment you can't do on trade. So the section you want to basically look at is bulk want to sell. When you want to sell your delirium orbs, there's a few different ways you can do it. So bulk delirium orbs want to sell. What you'll find most of these listings are people are posting these with a program, or actually just a website called POE Stack that essentially prices it for you. So we'll go and do an example of how to set it up like this. The important thing to look at is what percentage the majority of people are asking for their Deli orbs. So what POE Stack will do is pull prices from POE Ninja, and then you can say, I want 135% of this price, and that's how much I'm selling my orbs for. I've sold 3 lots of bulk Deli orbs, and they've always gone for around 135 to 140. So that's what I tend to price it at. Again, the more you've got, the more you can charge because people want to do less trades. So if you only had 12 delirium orbs, you might have to sell them for like 100% of the price because people don't want to trade for that small amount of orbs. If you say add 100 to 200, you could probably go on and do 130 or 140. The other way you can simply do it is you will bulk price your expensive ones on trade, which would be your divination, your currency ones, and then your skittering ones. And then on TFT, you can just say, I want to sell 7 delirium orbs for 1 divine, and I have 70 delirium orbs, so I want 10 divines for them, and then they'll just whisper you. All you need to do is just basically write what other people write. So want to sell affliction or want to sell soft core, put your in-game name so that they know where to whisper you, and then just the price you want. So if we wanted to sell these orbs, we could just say, want to sell soft core, 7 times random Deli orbs, and then like 1 divine. And then you just put your in-game name and whatever it is, and then you press return. And then if people are interested in your Deli orbs, they will whisper you. And it works no different to trade. When you're actually trading, they'll just whisper you, you go, they come to your hideout, you trade, job done. What most people do, as I say, is they use POE Stack. So this is like a pricing tool. All you need to do is you'd connect your Discord and your POE account to this, and it can then read your stash tabs. You go to bulk tool. You choose what it is that you want to sell. So in this case, I want to sell delirium orbs. I would then pick the stash that it's in, which is obviously delirium. And then we will load that tab. So it's collected it. It's got all my Deli orbs. It's priced them up. And this is where you put in your in-game name. So the in-game name for my character that I was on at the time was Fuzzy Wanderer. And then you can see here, this price here changes depending on how you slide this bar. So because I've got a lot of delirium orbs, I might say I want 130% of POE price for these orbs at 60 divines. You press post to TFT and it automatically just puts your post onto TFT. And then if you've priced them reasonably, you'll get whispers really quickly. If you've underpriced them, you'll know because you will get an absolute ton of whispers straight away. So in that case, you may want to not sell them, wait a few minutes and repost because there's a cooldown time for how often you can post on TFT. But this is the easiest way to sell your delirium orbs. And the good thing about bulk selling things like that is because they stack up to 10, unless you've got absolutely hundreds of orbs, you're going to be able to fit it all into one trade window. Just make sure you are obviously doing the right amount for trade because it's very easy to get banned from TFT if you scam someone, whether it's accidentally or deliberately. But that's kind of how you'd go about selling your delirium orbs. Everything else you can sell on trade. The only other thing to look at would be your maps. So you can sell maps as well, but it tends to be easier to sell them if you have full sets. So with the strategy, you will get maps dropped, but it might be you get Conqueror maps, you get 5 Baron, 5 Veritania, 5 Hunter, and no Drox. So you obviously can't sell them in full sets, but you can sell them on trade fairly easily. But you can see here again, people will just want to sell X amount of Cirrus sets, whatever price you want, 1.9 divines each. And it's as simple as that. And you do the same with like Elder maps, for example, and Shaper maps. You can just sell them in bulk here or list them individually on trade. What I find happens a lot on trade is people will say, oh, do you have any other maps? You explain, yes, I've got more maps, but I don't have full sets, and you can have them for, you know, X Chaos each or X Divine for however many. And you can often get bulk trades that way. It's a little bit more long-winded, and it's kind of relying on that person wanting more maps. But for the majority of the time, people don't really want one map. It might be that they need to do Cirrus, so they want one of each, or they might have a El Hesmin map, but that don't have the other 3. So there's definitely ways to sell them in bulk if you don't want to use TFT, but I do think for your Deli Orbs, it's much easier to do that. And that's kind of it for the update on the strategy. It was just to show the tweaks I've made and what I'm doing now. It's not that much more profitable than the setup in the Headhunter video where we're running Jungle Valley and Mesa, but I find it more enjoyable because I really don't like running Jungle Valley. I find the layout's a bit of a pain with all the trees. The fact you don't kill the boss because he takes a little bit of a while to kill means you get less boss maps. This overall, I think is slightly more profitable, but the stuff you get is going to be easier to sell because in Jungle Valley, you might end up with, you know, half a Divines of Sextants that you can't bulk. So you might end up with scatterings of currency that you're not going to be able to bulk sell. Whereas when you run in Park and City Square, nearly everything you drop is worth good money and is easy to sell in bulk. That is it for the video. As I say, in terms of the build, if I can get this working to what I think is worth bringing out a build guide for, I will. But all I was looking really at this stage was to get something that can do these maps quickly and get the boss down, and that's quite fun to play. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.